Stuart Sutherland, Irrationality. Dive into the world of Irrationality by Stuart Sutherland and uncover the surprising truth about human behavior. This book summary will explore the reasons behind our irrational decisions, the various ways in which irrationality impacts individuals and organizations, and the significance of emotions and social norms on our thought processes. You'll also learn the importance of statistics in helping us make better decisions and the strategies we can use to avoid irrational thinking. Get ready to challenge your assumptions about human rationality and discover valuable insights into how we function both individually and in groups.
The myth of human rationality. From Aristotle to Kant, humans have been regarded as deeply rational beings. However, this might not be so true after all. People often judge others based on their looks, which is irrational. Irrationality means making conclusions that are not based on knowledge. While rational thinking is based on knowledge, rational conclusions can still be false. False rationality is not to be confused with irrationality, which requires deliberate action. This raises the question of why humans deliberately make irrational decisions. Irrational behavior in individuals and organizations. People often make irrational decisions and behave irrationally for various reasons, which affects individuals and organizations. Individuals distort their sense of reality to maintain irrational behavior and thoughts. They also tend to hold on to irrational behaviors and thoughts and glorify their choices. In organizations, structures often encourage selfish behavior that benefits individuals at the expense of the whole, such as bonus payments that encourage risky bets and financing based on past allocations without regard for spending. The availability error. The availability error is a cognitive bias that causes people to ignore known facts and pay attention to information that makes the biggest impression on them, or that comes to mind most easily. Emotionally charged information is more likely to be remembered, leading to irrational beliefs and behaviors. The primacy error and halo effect are related biases caused by our tendency to form beliefs based on first impressions or noticeable traits. The 1975 movie premiere of Jaws caused a drop in sea swimmers in California due to the availability error, despite the fact that people are much more likely to die in a car accident than by a shark attack. The media's focus on emotionally charged events like plane crashes leads many to believe they are more likely to die in accidents than from strokes, despite the latter being 40 times more common. Understanding these biases can help people make more rational decisions. The irrationality of social conformity. Conforming to social norms can lead to irrational behavior, as demonstrated by psychologist Solomon Asch's experiment where test subjects made choices based on what society expected of them. Publicly announced decisions can also lead to the irrational boomerang effect where a challenged belief becomes even stronger. This is because it's socially normative to do what we say we will, and we irrationally scramble to save face rather than admit we changed our minds. Advertising companies have found that public declarations of intention lead to a higher likelihood of following through with that intention. Ditch the rewards. The notion that rewards motivate people is flawed, according to recent research. While verbal praise can encourage individuals, physical rewards can be a discouraging factor. In fact, they do not improve performance. This has been demonstrated by researchers in experiments with students who were asked to write headlines for their college newspaper. Those who were not paid outperformed those who were paid. What is more effective than rewards is cultivating a self-improvement mindset and offering constructive feedback. Specific comments tend to encourage students more than general feedback. Research has also shown that people tend to prefer making their own choices. One experiment gave 10-year-old children a toy. The group that was allowed to pick their preferred toy enjoyed it more than the group that was given their favorite toy without their input. In conclusion, it may be better to ditch rewards and promote autonomy, self-improvement, and constructive feedback to foster motivation. Emotions and irrational behavior. Our emotions have the power to distort our worldview and cause us to behave irrationally. While feelings like stress, depression, and jealousy can muddy our perspective, failing to seek contradictory evidence to our beliefs can also lead to irrational thinking. Emotions and feelings are not the same, as emotions are a combination of certain feelings with our tendency to act and think in certain ways. Strong emotions of any type prevent us from focusing on rational decision-making and make it difficult to consider alternatives. A study showed that people seek confirmation of their beliefs even when they are self-antagonizing. The illusion of cause and effect. Richard Dahl and Richard Peto's statistics proved the connection between smoking and lung cancer in the 1970s. But often, people fail to see the correlation between events. Numbers and statistics are ignored while associations between events are misunderstood. One of the main reasons for this is the tendency to confuse the causes and effects of events. This irrationality is known as an illusory correlation. False cause and effect relationships are created when subjective connections are established between two unrelated events or ideas. Psychoanalysis is an example of this. The incorrect attribution of improvement in patients to treatment is seen frequently. The bottom line is that two events occurring simultaneously does not mean one caused the other. Overconfidence and the halo effect. Our intuition is often unreliable, as we tend to be excessively confident in our judgments and gut feelings. This irrationality of overconfidence can lead to problems, as seen in incidents such as the technician who caused a fire due to his overconfidence, or job interviewers who rely on their intuition to evaluate candidates. Such inclinations are a result of the halo effect, where we view someone as inherently good based on one positive feature. To make rational decisions, we should rely on actuarial prediction, using data and mathematical analysis to arrive at judgments, instead of trusting our intuition to make choices. The power of statistics for rationality. The importance of rationality in society and how statistics can improve decision-making. Have you ever wondered if rationality is truly essential? While personal choices do not require much rationality, society's critical areas like medicine or engineering cannot afford irrationality. So, how can you become more rational? The answer is statistics, and it is no coincidence that economics, psychology, and medical students all learn about it. Basic knowledge of statistics can significantly decrease incorrect and irrational decisions. For instance, a study asked subjects if a larger hospital that averaged 45 births or a smaller one with 15 births would see more days in a year with 60% male babies. The assumption was both would have the same frequency. However, the smaller hospital is more likely to have such days, as the law of large numbers states that the larger the sample, the more likely a true frequency of events will occur. Therefore, the smaller hospital has a higher chance of having such days. Moreover, statistics can improve decision-making by evaluating the results of a decision based on the likelihood of it occurring and its desirability. Known as utility theory, it accounts for both factors and is the best way to make rational decisions. In conclusion, rationality is significant in society, and statistics can help with making rational decisions. Avoiding irrationality in decision-making. The article emphasizes the impact of question framing on decision-making while proposing less time-consuming ways of making rational decisions. It shows how different question formats can generate absolutely different choices even when conveying the same meaning. It also highlights the effect of question scales on responses to questions, which tend to force people to choose middle options that might not reflect their true opinions. Furthermore, the article recommends listing pros and cons to deal with and organize complex decisions. This way, one can take advantage of the fact that people can only retain a small number of ideas in their minds at once. By following the guidance provided in the write-up, individuals can avoid irrational decisions and the consequent bad outcomes. In conclusion, the article emphasizes the importance of understanding question bias and simple methods like listing pros and cons in avoiding irrational decision-making.
In Irrationality, Stuart Sutherland takes you on a fascinating journey to understand the complex nature of human decision-making. The book reveals that our decisions are not always as rational as we might think, with emotions, social norms, and intuition playing significant roles in our thought processes. Understanding these factors and their impact on our decisions can help us make better choices, while recognizing the importance of statistical analysis when dealing with complex issues. By knowing the ways in which our irrationality can influence us, both in personal and professional contexts, we can strive towards becoming more rational and thoughtful decision makers, capable of overcoming the many irrational pitfalls that govern our actions.